Okay, so welcome to day 6 of the 7-day challenge. Now, things are going to start getting a little bit fuzzy here because at this point, we're probably all going to be at different stages because it's hard to know what you've outsourced, what you've made yourself, what covers you've had outsourced, what covers you've made yourself, how quickly you've done them, whether you've actually completed the last steps, whether you've decided to get the word search software and create your own word searches. That's all going to take time, and we all might be at different stages at this point. So in day 6 here, what we want to try and do is to just check our listings and finish the listings that we can finish and then publish the ones that are ready to go. Okay, so if you remember I think it was day 3, was it, where we created all those listings, what we can do is go back and quickly check all the ones that are ready to go. So by ready to go, I mean ones that we've got interiors back for and covers back for. So obviously if you're just making higher content books, then you're not going to have your interior back for quite a while. And that's why I recommend that you work on low content and medium content books whilst you're waiting for higher content books. Or, maybe you're not doing high content books at all and you're just doing low content books. So hopefully at this point, if you're just doing low content books, then you'll have listings ready to go. More niche research. Okay, if you've got some spare time where you're waiting for your freelancer to come back to you, do more niche research or put out more job offerings and try and find more people to make more books for you. Okay, so with today, hopefully we can start getting books published onto Amazon. Again, don't worry if you're nowhere near publishing your book. This will just be the next step you can take. So let's say, for example, that we had 10 low content books made, 5 medium content books made, and 1 higher content book made, and you've only received 5 interiors back for your low content book. Just get these done, get these out there. These are ready to go. Make sure you check them, obviously. And when it comes to checking them, you might need to add additional pages to them. So you might need to have an introduction page or something like that your outsourcer hasn't done for you. And once you're ready, you can come back to your listings. And so listings that we've already created, we had the paperback details page where we put in our title, our subtitle, our category, and keywords and all those things. And that now moves us on to the next page, which is the content. So the first thing we want to do here is to create a free KDP ISBN. So click assign me a free KDP ISBN and then come down to your print options. I don't really ever bother with publication date. Print options, and I usually select black and white interior with white paper. Now, obviously this is dependent on your book. I can't decide this for you. You have to pick the one that makes sense for you. You need to bear in mind that if you go with color interiors, it's going to increase the price of your book. And then of course we need to pick our trim size. Now, hopefully this goes without saying, during the period where you start hiring people to do your jobs, you would have told them what size book you're looking for. Okay, so they would hopefully create it in the size that you wanted, and you can just select it from the trim size here. Bleed settings, again, these are going to be all down to you and what you've discussed with your outsourcer and what works with your book, so you need to fill that in here. When it comes to the finish of the book, I tend to use matte for most of mine. I just think it looks a bit classier than glossy, but this is personal preference. Okay, that moves us on to our manuscript and our book cover. So manuscript being the interior that we've received back from our outsourcer. So this might be, we might have received the interior in its finished state, ready to go straight into here. Or there might be a couple of things that we need to add to that. There might be some revisions that we need made from our outsourcer. Make sure you get them done the way that you want them before you upload it, obviously. And then we've probably made our book covers ourselves, or we've had them outsourced. And if that's ready to go, then we can upload them into here. Okay, so that moves us on to our book preview part here, where we need to do this. We need to click this, go in, make sure that our book looks good and that there's no errors. If there are errors inside your book, then Amazon is going to tell you inside there. If all looks good and it's ready to be published, then you can just click the accept button in there and confirm that is the interior and the cover that you want combined together. And just a quick reality check before we move on here. With most stages in publishing, like, something will probably go wrong. So be prepared for things to not go the way that you want them to with publishing. There does tend to always be something that's not quite formatted right, something you don't like the look of, an error that you've made in your title or in your book description. There's always something that kind of goes wrong. And the main thing you can do here is to not to panic and just try and do what you can to resolve the issue and then move on. And then you'd have learned something from there for your future books as well. Okay, so any mistake we make, it's just going to be a learning lesson for the future. And once you've done that, you can move on and save and continue to the pricing section here. Okay, so on the pricing section here, we're going to have the territories page, and we're going to click all territories. And our primary marketplace is going to be Amazon.com. However, this does appear to be new to me. It's something they've recently added. So I assume if you have a book that's more specific to like a Canadian audience or a UK audience, then you would just click the most appropriate one. But I think for the most part, it's going to be .com. And then on this section, we have a pricing, royalty, and distribution. I'm a little bit unsure as to what's happening with expanded distribution at the moment. So for the most part, I'm leaving them unticked. And really, I don't make much money from using expanded distribution anyway. So I'm happy to leave it unticked for now. You need to decide whether you want to do that or not. But for me, it's going to be unticked. And then you can just list the prices that you want for each marketplace. And when you change the .com one, it's going to automatically update all the ones below it as well. And then once you finish that, you have the option to publish your book. Okay, so that's the process from day 1 to day 6 here. And we've gone all the way from doing our niche research, confirming the niche and putting a spin on it, creating the listings and looking for work on Upwork, creating our covers, hiring someone. And then today we've checked our listings and we've finished the listings that we can make, and we've published the ones that we have been able to make. So of course, everything's not going to fall exactly the way that you want to with this 7-day challenge. You're going to be ahead, you're going to be behind. It doesn't matter too much as long as you do things kind of in the order that I've shown here. This is the way that I do it, at least. So if your next batch of books aren't back from your outsourcer yet, or you haven't made the cover for them yet, just do them as and when. Make sure you have all the listings ready though, like we showed you in previous days. And then go back and fill them in as and when you get the content for them. So you might have 5 blank listings, but maybe you'll complete your word search tomorrow. Maybe you'll complete your activity book tomorrow. Maybe you'll get back your coloring pages in a couple of days. When that's all ready, just put them in as and when. But you might not have the cover ready for them yet. That doesn't matter. Just put in what you do have into the listings and then keep filling those listings out until they're complete. And doing things this way is going to keep you motivated. It's going to keep you organized. And then you're going to be ready to upload books onto Amazon's marketplace. Okay, so that's going to move us on to day 7, and hopefully we've got books published by now. Day 6 is the day where we've published books onto Amazon. Now day 7 is what happens after they've been published. Okay, so obviously we're going to have to wait for Amazon to accept our books and have them published. So that can take, depending on the book that you've done, maybe 2 days, maybe 10 days. It's going to take a little while. So during that time, you can actually start this process again. If you're feeling motivated, just go through the process again. But what I like to do after I've got my listings live, as soon as I can see them live, I like to try and pick the ones that I think I'm going to run ads to, okay? So day 7 is going to be ads, but more so should you actually run ads to these books. So we're going to take a reality check in just a minute in day 7. But for now, hopefully you've got books that are ready to be published or have published, and I'll see you in day 7. Okay, so welcome to day 7. Now I've decided to record day 7 again so I can tag it along with day 6, because I'm aware that with some of these challenge videos, the videos that I put out for each day, some of the videos don't actually give you too much value. They just kind of say, fill in this or fill in that or do this task today. But I want to try and make sure that I give more value in each video that I upload onto YouTube. So I think with tagging this video along with day 6, you're going to get some really good value out of this video as well, because in this video, we're going to be talking about running ads to your book. So obviously this isn't going to be a very in-depth tutorial or anything like that, because I'm certainly no master of ads myself. I mainly run auto ads. And in this day, once we have our books published, we can take a look at whether we want to start running auto ads to our books or not. Okay, so I'm currently in my UK account at the moment, where I have £59 of spend and £423 of sales. So just a quick tip for anyone that is running ads at the moment that is watching this video, be sure to get your books or to test ads on the UK and Canadian store, because you're likely to find that your ACOS is going to be much better on those instead of your US account. But that's just from my experience anyway. So let's go ahead and make the assumption that you have completed everything and your book is uploaded on Amazon. It's ready for you to run ads to if you desire. Now, I do think you need to be a little bit real with yourself first and check back through all the quality of your books and decide whether you actually want to run ads to them or not. So what I want to show you in this video is how I set up my auto ad campaigns. And what I would highly recommend is that you start with auto ads, and then once you're actually making profit with auto ads, then you can delve a bit deeper and start testing manual ads. Okay, so hopefully in the future I'll have some videos on manual ads, but at the moment I only have a couple manual ads running and they're doing okay, but I don't feel in any position to actually give any sort of advice regarding manual ads. Okay, so for auto ads, once your books are up and running, now I have preached in previous videos, and my mindset for certain things like this changes from time to time, that you shouldn't run ads to books that aren't making you sales already. However, I think things are starting to slowly change as we come into 2021, the second half of 2021. I kind of do feel like reviews are coming less and less relevant. Obviously, they can help people make even more sales than they do already, but I kind of feel that you need to have that fundamental quality in your book. And I feel like if you have that quality, then you can go ahead and start running ads to those books, even if they don't have sales and even if they don't have any reviews. And this is something that I have been testing myself. I do have more luck with the books that I'm picking that have already made organic sales and books that do already have reviews on them. However, I have started to see some success with books that are new to Amazon. They don't have any reviews, they don't have any sales on them, and then I start running auto ads and I see some sales with them. Okay, but these are books that I think are good quality, and if they're good quality and you put them out in front of more customers with your ads, then they will hopefully make sales. Okay, so let's carry on with this video and create our auto ads. So what you want to do is come across to your Amazon account, and this is just the way that I do it. There's probably a quicker way to get to your ad campaigns, but you can come to your Amazon KDP account, come to ad campaigns, click on learn more, and then you can just pick the Amazon marketplace that you want to run ads to. So obviously, like I said, this is the UK one that I'm currently running at the moment. If you want to set up ads on the US, and you click the US, you want to do Canadian, then you click the Canadian, etc., etc. I believe you can just go to your bookshelf and start running ads that way from individual books, but this is just the way that I like to do it. Okay, so once you're there, you're going to be greeted with this page, and the first thing you need to do is come down to create a campaign. And then we're going to go with sponsored products. Okay, and then you're going to give your campaign a name. So obviously just name it something related to your book. And then you need to select your start date. So for the most part, your start date is going to be the day that you're on. End date is something that I've never experimented with, so I'm going to leave that blank. Daily budget. Now, daily budget is one I think is quite important, and I like to try and keep this quite low, but not too low to the point where I don't have enough, where I'm not spending enough to actually get an idea of what's making money. So I don't want to have this at £1 and then, you know, spend my budget of £1 and not really see any results back. So I like to put for my UK budget around £3 to £4. Obviously with like the US store, the Canadian store, that number's going to be higher, so $4 or $5 is what I tend to go for with my daily budget on those stores. And we're going to keep it quite low, but it doesn't matter too much if we do go higher than that. With the way that we're going to do things here, it's very unlikely that we'll be spending our daily budget. Okay, so your daily budget is for each campaign that you create, so it's not one budget across all campaigns, it is per campaign that you upload. Okay, so it is something that you need to keep an eye on. If you have multiple campaigns running and each of those campaigns has £3, £4, £5 being run per day, then you need to make sure that you're monitoring these campaigns just in case these numbers start racking up. And obviously I'm not your financial advisor, obviously, but you need to be very careful with the money that you put into ads, okay? Because there's nothing to say that you are going to make sales with ads, okay? So obviously proceed with money that you are willing to lose is the attitude that I like to have here. Okay, so targeting, we're going to go with automatic targeting. And campaign bidding strategy, we're going to go, for me, I like to go with dynamic bids up and down. So I have a little bit more money than I used to when I started running ads, so I'm happy to go up and down here. And what that means is that Amazon's going to raise your bids by a maximum of 100% in real time when your ad may or may be more likely to convert to a sale, and lower your bid when less likely to convert to a sale. Okay, so with that option we could end up spending more than what our bid actually is. However, if you're feeling pretty strict and you're just starting with auto ads, then you might want to use dynamic bids down only. So let's read that. Will lower your bids in real time when your ad may be less likely to convert to a sale, etc., etc. Okay, so this is the safest bet if you're concerned about your money, which hopefully you shouldn't be. If you're running ads to your books, you should know what money that you're willing to lose. But if you are concerned, then go with down only. But the best results I've been having is with up and down. Okay, so for ad group name here, I don't tend to put anything at all. I leave it as it is. And then when you come down to the product section, you're going to see all the books that you currently have available on Amazon. Obviously you can't see mine because I've typed something in here. But what you want to do is just obviously pick the book that you're interested in running ads to. And then once you click that, it's going to come across to the product section here. And if you stick with me, I'm going to show you something quite interesting back on my account that I found recently that's been making me some good money with sales. So stick with this video, I'm going to show you that in just a moment. Okay, so the most important part of this video here is the automatic targeting. So you need to set what your default bid is. So this is going to be how much you're going to pay every time someone clicks on your book. Okay, so what a lot of us are doing now is we're running these auto campaigns, these auto ad campaigns, and we're making sure that default bid is low. Okay, because we don't want to spend too much money. We don't want to send too much money to our books. Okay, so once you've picked a book from this section here, it's going to give you a suggested bid, and that suggested bid is going to be much higher than what you should be willing to spend. It's going to be over £1, it's going to be over $1, $1.50, something like that, and it's going to cost you a lot of money. And if you have a daily budget of $5, then obviously if you have a suggested bid of around $2, then you're only going to get like 2 or 3 clicks, and 2 or 3 clicks on your book isn't going to be enough to know whether your book is actually converting on Amazon with these ads or not. Okay, so we lower these bids, we're going to leave these running for quite a long time. We're going to let Amazon give us data back and show us how well these books are converting, and then we can go from there and we can decide from there whether we want to start spending a little bit more on these bids or not. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. We want to make sure that we start these bids nice and low. So for me, with the UK store, I'm looking around 18p. Now obviously this isn't an exact science, you need to experiment here. I can only go with the numbers that I've started with, so 18p, 19, 20, 21p, and in cents that's going to be around 21 cents, 22 cents, 23, 24, 25 cents, things like that, maximum 25 cents. But the point here, what I want you to take away from this is that we're not using default bid, we're going much lower, okay, so that we can get over time way more clicks to our book while spending less money. And once we have all those clicks come in, we can see what's converting or not, we can decide from there if we want to keep running these campaigns or not. Okay, and as for negative keyword targeting and negative product targeting, I don't mess with that. I don't mess with that yet at all, so I can't tell you what I think on this here, but we're just going to leave that for now. And then once you've done, you can launch your campaign. Okay, but again, what I like to do is I like to obsess over what I'm spending on my ads, so I check them every single day. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm not spending too much daily with any campaign. Okay, so there has been times where I've left the ads running for a week and I realized actually I have a book that's up there and the ACOS is around 50-60%, it's doing terribly, and I let it run for some stupid reason because I think it's going to start selling at some point, or I've just forgotten that it exists, and obviously it's cost me money and I've lost money on that ad. Okay, so always keep an eye on how your books are doing. Okay, so just quickly before I end this video, if you remember back just a second ago when I said I was going to show you something, this something is going to be grouped books. So what I've done when I've created a campaign, so just on that part I showed you a second ago where you select your products and then your product goes onto the right hand side, what I've done here on this first campaign here, the one that says group DBs, is I've made one campaign, but I've grouped together, I think it's around 10 different books, but these books are all in the same niche, and it makes sense to group them together. So that means they're being targeted by all the same keywords, and it makes sense to do it this way instead of doing every single book individually. Okay, and the results of this have been really good on the UK store so far. So this isn't me telling you to make sure you group all your similar books together and run the same ad to them. This is just my result with doing this so far, and I think it's going quite well in the Canadian store for me as well with this group of books. So instead of doing 10 individual campaigns, I have one campaign with all 10 products selected in that one campaign. And as we can see here, with a spend of 53, I think that says, and sales 400, and the ACOS is very low at 13%. Okay, so what I mean here by spending too much money, and I've done it here, my ACOS is 125%. My spend for this, for some reason, is £1.25, £1.24. I'm not sure what I'm letting this run for so long. It's not really getting many clicks. I'm spending too much on it. So when you see a book like this that you think is not going to earn you much money, you can just cancel the campaign over here. I'm actually going to let this one go just for a little bit longer, just to see if I can make any sort of sale from it. But for the most part, it looks like it's not going to. So campaigns like that, you can just close them. And I get a lot of questions asking how much money I'm willing to spend before I close a campaign, and obviously that depends on what your click price is going to be. But if your click price is quite low, if you're getting clicks at like 20 cents or 20p or 18, 17, 16, 15p, anywhere between $2 and $3 or £2 and £3 when your bids are really low. So that means that your getting a lot of clicks because your bid price is so low. If you're getting a lot of clicks and you're not making many sales, that means your book isn't converting, okay? So I can't tell you what the exact point should be. I think that's something you need to decide yourself. But obviously, if you're spending £5 and you've only made one sale and your bid price is extremely low, so you're having loads and loads and loads and loads of clicks, you're not making any sales, you need to decide, is it likely? Do you think you have a good converting book if you have so many targeted clicks and you're not making any sales? It's probably time to cut that campaign off, okay? And the good thing about cutting campaigns off and leaving other campaigns running is that you can just let them run next month and the month after that. And of course, the ones that you cut off will never be run again. Therefore, you'll never lose money on them again, okay? Okay, so that's it for ads, and that concludes the 7-day challenge. And if you've managed to stick through every single video, then well done. I hope it's helped you. And don't worry, if you're at a point where you're on day 7 here, day 6 and 7, and you're absolutely nowhere near running ads to your book, then it's just a case of just taking a bit longer and making sure that you do eventually do the day that you're on, and do that before you move on to the next day. And eventually you'll get there. Eventually you'll be at a point where you can start running ads, okay? And I think there needs to be some sort of takeaway for this challenge. And, for those who are still watching, I hope it has helped. But I want the realistic side of things to be here, that you're not going to make money in 7 days with Amazon KDP. And you do need to stick at this for quite some time. This is just the 7-day cycle that I like to do my work in. So I do it in these batches of 7 days. It keeps me motivated, keeps me sane, makes me feel like I'm not all over the place, and it works for me. And it's the same way that I do. I do the 7-day cycle, and I'll take a couple weeks break, or maybe 3 weeks break from doing KDP, and then I go back to it again and have a new batch of books loaded up, because I do believe there is such a thing as like burning out from KDP. Maybe there are some people out there who can just sit and upload book after book after book, day after day, month after month, but I can't do that. And after reading some stuff in forums recently, it feels like a lot of other people can't do that either. And that's absolutely normal. Like, it can get tedious, it can get boring, but if you stick with it, if you're thoughtful, if you do the process like the 7 days that I've shown you here, you will make sales eventually. And I hope that people start trying to get books out for Q4, because I guarantee that you'll start seeing some sales during that time at the very least. And this is the same as any other business. Like, it's not going to take you a month, it's not going to take you 2 months, it's going to take you much longer, okay? There might be the few people out there who can just smash this business right away, but the chances are that you're probably not one of them, and you need to give this time 6 months, 7 months, a year, 2 years. You just got to stick at it. And you got to be real with yourself. Like, if you have 100 books up, 200 books, 300, you're not making any sales, and you're just producing these book after book after book after book and not making any sale at all, and you're saying to yourself, KDP is a scam, the YouTubers are scammers, or the market is saturated, or things like that, you need just to be real with yourself and realize that it's not a scam, it is a business, it does take time, and it's just the same as anything else. If you're not having success with it, then you're just not good at it. You're not good at it just yet, but if you keep going, you keep practicing and learning and adapting, then you will be, and you will start making sales, okay? Okay, so that's enough ranting. Again, I hope if you have gone through day 1 to day 7 here, hope you've enjoyed it, hope it helps you, and I'll see you back in future videos.